What is, guys? Welcome back to some more Philosopher 2 Governments and Grievances. Let's get right into it. I'm home. Sweet Washington's fictional cherry tree. I'm actually home. The living room is a lot shinier than I remember. Does it hum this loudly everywhere these days? Pretty much, yes. I can't believe it. You actually did it. Arbiter, it's an honor to finally meet you, sir. All the data lines up. The portal is stable. People can travel between realms without danger. We've really done it. Pythia, did it work? It worked! Mom, it's so good to see you in person. I'm glad to see you too, Adney. Hell, I'm even glad to see your stupid face, Socrates. The feeling is mutual. Wow, you two really know how to warm your daughter's heart. So, boss, what happens now? I'm still figuring that out. Revealing the intelligible realm will be a shock to the public. A bit, yes. It could bolster my cause, maybe even sway the election. But if I don't win... If it's any consolation, Pythia, it no longer matters if you win. What happens next has already been determined. You betrayed us? Wait, what the hell? What's going on? Who is that? Allow me to introduce my brother, Lieutenant General Regis Plateau. Plateau? Commander of the 3rd Corps. Wait. You're the one who helped you fund this pet project? Yes. At some point, you must have questioned why a military officer would push for research into dead philosophers. We're taking charge of Capra and the intelligible realm. Big changes just became possible. We have a moral obligation to see them through. What are you going on about? What changes? Plateau's Republic. So typical, seizing all power for yourselves. What happened to sweater vest solidarity? Not our republic, the original Plateau. You can't be serious. Of course I'm serious. You've seen Pythia's struggles, Arbiter. The length she'd go to win. She only confirmed that what I already suspected. The current system is irreparably broken. No way about the debate, Markus. I'm sure the philosophers will come around to our viewpoint as well. Is this actually happening? But I thought, Markus, why? I'm sorry, everyone. Regis, soldiers, escort the civilians somewhere safe until this is over. Yes, sir. Nonsense. I am about to debate him, okay. Markus, wait. I haven't known you long, and I know you're no fan of Machiavelli. What's going on here? If you really believe in whatever plan you have, you should be able to explain it to us, defend it to us, not just enact it without a word through force and fear. Whatever your plans for Capra are, for Capra, wouldn't they be easier with us on your side? It's a long shot, but I'm not stupid, Ariadne. You just want to try and talk me out of this. Do you think you can be talked out of this? Because if you can, you probably should. Waste of time, Em. They won't understand. No, I'll bite. Where would we be, Regis, if we didn't embody our ideals? But you'll find my position is sound, and when you do, I expect you all to help. Because you are right, Ariadne. I would prefer that. Tell the troops to stand down, Reg. We're going to resolve this like true philosophers. Not me to do that. Many of the philosophers you've spoken with believe the participation of the public is of paramount importance, but the public is fickle. Groups vote based on flights of fancy likability, their own biases. The rules of democracy thus come into their positions solely based on the whims of public opinion. Leaders can even get elected with no real qualifications and none of the skills that make a good ruler. For this reason, democracy is failing, has failed, and will fail again. Do you see now the reason we must act? We put it up on a pedestal, but the tragic truth is that democracy is a poison process. We finally have a chance to replace it with something better. We put it up on a pedestal. I missed one word. That's what it was. Markus, you've been working for me for years. Working for the Senate? How long have you nursed these views? I'm sorry, boss. I believe in your ideals. Philosophy is incredibly valuable. But you've said it yourself. Every day in the system is corrupt. The yawns are really coming in, guys. And Ariadne. Yeah, it is Adney. Whatever. This country robbed you of your enthusiasm and your belief in your ability to affect the future. That's kind of facts, ain't gonna lie. If public participation was working, would you have ever reached that point? And there are many others in much worse situations than you. People like my brother forced down certain paths because no one is listening. He did mention his brother earlier. We can't simply leave them to the whims of fate. Things are pretty messed up. I said so at the start. But look at my mom. People can break their patterns. They can change. They can grow. Can they, though? Truly? Very well, then ask your questions. Prove change is possible. Change your mind or be changed yourself. Damn, he has a lot of fucking points. My overall point, the fact democracy doesn't work is what forces our hand. How often do you jump to the end of a book and ask, hey, what led to this book? I don't know why I'm yawning, and here I thought I was perhaps being too blunt. Mom, finding a weakness here is not as easy as I hoped it would be. Because he has your fears amplified. He's all of your fears. Really, he's all of our fears, really. Just place the why there. You yourself argue democracy has flaws. He's taken that a step further and arguing it fundamentally broken. It might be there isn't enough here for us to use yet. So the first step is to get more information out of him. Break his reasoning down into smaller chunks. Why does he believe what he believes? Marx, Fanon, Rouse, Nozozic, all in one way or another promoted empowering the common person. All were wrong, of course, but the dream is persistent. It articulates an assumption the rest of you share, establishing it clearly so I can knock it down. I must acknowledge how widespread this core idea is. Power to the people has a nice ring to it, nostalgic almost, but unfortunately real life has proven it's never that simple. It's never that simple. I got all those again. This establishes the worst case scenario for the democracy, and one that has happened time and time again throughout the world. Let's imagine we have two candidates running for a board of health. One is a doctor, the other is a sweet shop owner. The sweet shop owner points to the doctor and says, "Look at them. They hurt you, steal your blood, and stick you with scary needles. I, on the other hand, deliver you candy, and I promise to continue delivering candy as long as you deliver the votes." Yes, they do, and they could try to explain that the pain they cause is in the pursuit of a better life. But even if they tried, who do you think most people would vote for? I'm drinking water mid-sentence every time. I have to think a lot of them would make the right choice. You can hope, but look at the world. No matter what ideals you hold, I'm sure you can find a leader who's sweet-talk their way into office they're unqualified for. They're definitely sending shots. When qualifications don't matter, then somebody with no qualifications can matter the most. That wasn't a clarification so much as a poetic statement. I'm sorry. I guess psyching myself up for dramatic action makes me prone to drama. Sure, but this doesn't change the fact that I need to know more. I'll admit, things can get pretty messed up in a democracy. Not everyone votes rationally. There isn't an easy solution to that. I certainly don't have one at the moment, but I also have no idea what you're proposing instead. What qualifications even qualify? For all I know, you could agree with Machiavelli, after all, and think our leaders aren't ruthless enough. Never. Machiavelli's? Machiavelli's. Philosophy is monstrous. Your discussion with him made that quite clear. This from the guy who brought an army to the debate. Any real change requires leverage. Maybe unpleasant, but it's a well-established fact. Yes, I get you think that, but what system do you want to change to? We can demand our leaders possess a certain set of qualifications, a set that should be obvious to all of us, especially now. Arbiter, this is an ancient ideal, Markus, a dream from another time. Do you really think it belongs here in the present? I do. I'm totally lost. Why would the Arbiter know what you are about to argue? His statements echo mine from millennia ago. There's only one group qualified to lead us all, one group dedicated to reason and truth. Philosophers. But we need, more than anything, our rulers carefully selected for their ability to think critically. Such skills are essential for choosing justly when facing the important decisions governing entails. Philosophers meet this standard, those who spend their days trying to decipher truth, deduce right and wrong. We gain access to all great thinkers from everywhere and everywhen. This is our best chance to establish the sort of leadership plateau that dreamed of. I think that it is plateau. A leadership of reason that would benefit all. But you deprive millions of their right to determine the laws that affect them. Millions of people are already deprived of those rights. Their representatives serve only themselves, willfully misleading the people in order to keep power. I've seen it. I've had to meet and follow orders from these people. At least our approach gives power to the deserving. When power is restricted to those capable of reasoning through all complications, everything will change. We'll no longer compromise what's right for what's comfortable. Artificial hierarchies will be dismantled and misinformation debunked. After so many years of bluster and inaction, this is our best hope to solve the problems we face. This is unbelievable. You keep trying to frame this as logical and just, but we're not going to simply let you enact your... Wait! Oh my god, wait. Oh, hi, Marks. Did I hear correctly? I don't remember all their voices, just to be clear. Is the revolution finally occurring? How I've longed for the day when American workers would throw off their golden chains and dispose of the oligarchy of the rich. Not all the workers, just these guys and their rogue troops. And they're not implementing anything close to communism, so get the fuck out of here, okay? Oh, this is immensely disappointing. You should stop them. Working on it. Never fear. I am also here. Oh, wonderful. Captain Democracy himself. Arbiter, are you aware you left the gate open? We were able to just stroll on through to the land of the living. Yes, I'm quite aware, Locke. We're trying something new, an open door policy. So far, well, it launched a coup, which was not the intended result, but it is interesting. Locke, out of curiosity, how would you feel about disposing of democracy and putting yourself in charge? That sounds like a terrible idea. Don't you remember how badly I was defeated during my last election? I only received one vote. There's no way I'd be able to maintain power without the people's consent. That's what I thought. That proves nothing. It's only natural some philosophers will disagree with this plan. The point is not that the point is not we'll argue on every decision. It's obvious they won't. Their ideas are as distant from one another as stars in the sky. But we can be sure any decisions that emerge from their discourse will be better informed than those of the masses. Go ahead, ask whatever questions you'd like. I'll prove you like. I'll prove this is the best choice. It's far too easy to use communication channels to play into people's biases. Yeah, let's just save off rip. Those challenges aren't looking good. No way is it.
NoNsense.
I didn't even need to. Wow. I said those both contradict. Wow, that's crazy. Hold on, Marcus. You want to put all of these philosophers in charge, right? Correct. Because if we don't, the voice of reason will never be heard. Unfortunately true. It's easier to mislead the public than inform them. Many take advantage of this fact. Philosopher, I wonder if I missed some statement updates though. Could focus on solving our problems without worrying about public opinion. Right. There's just one teensy tiny major problem with their solution. What happens when public opinion says philosophers are the problem? Marcus, multiple philosophers have discussed the threat of rebellion for both good and ill. Unhappy citizens will turn against their leaders and establish different ones, like you are now. In your world, where only a small elite can make decisions, how long do you think that will take? But if the philosophers rule with just hand and good intentions, I get the appeal, General. God help me, I do. But there's no such thing as perfect leadership, and as Adney said before, sometimes events are outside our control. In the face of such unpredictability, even your philosopher kings would make mistakes. And when people see these oh so wise, wow, there's a hole in these pants too. I'm talking about my own pants. Whatever. All those philosophers, dead or alive, would get an express ticket to the intelligible realm. Is that how it works? Can we die again if we stay here? Asking the right questions. I should have considered the full implications of this portal being completed. Unanswered metaphysical questions aside, systems like democracy have peaceful outlets to express discontent. But by its very nature, your approach cuts off people's ability to influence the world. You've created the perfect formula for a rebellion. Whatever order you establish will only be toppled once more. Nice work, Ari. Honestly, I'm just really impressed with everything you've been doing. So we've come full circle. In the end, democracy is in fact... Well, it was nice while it lasted. You've made some solid points here, Ariadne, but they don't go as far as you think. Yes, people will rise up if they don't feel respected, as they should, but that's far from a guaranteed outcome in the Republic. But you're taking the power away from the people. I'm taking away direct power. That's very different from taking away all power. I would have pursued this plan if I believed. I would not have pursued this plan. Sorry, I'm trying to overtalk my dog right now. This is insane. This plan, if I believed it would cut people out of the system. Everyone benefits if the public still has an outlet to contribute. Over here trying to do 4 things at once. Individuals are free to present their troubles and opinions to the philosophers through regular forums. Citizens are rewarded for their own ability to make their points, and the most persuasive ideas are elevated. Thus we get the best of both worlds, the will of the people filtered by the wisdom of philosophers. So you see, the people are not cut out at all. Individuals are always free to appeal with their leaders, who then use their own wisdom to turn those appeals into policy. By engaging with the people, the philosophers stay connected to the state of the world and what the people are dealing with. This really isn't much different from respective democracy, in which the important choices are made by elected officials. Only the public doesn't have... Okay, stop talking, bro, dang! We now have access to an afterlife that identifies great thinkers for us. That was the whole point of this operation. So everyone has to die before they can rule? We're establishing a lichdom now? I imagine various living individuals, through making their case, could prove themselves experts in reasoning in various subject matter. Academia has a structure for peer reviews. Our leaders should be held to at least the standard of our scholars. As someone who has, where did he even come from, been through that process, the standard and rife with selection bias, nepotism, and all the hallmakers of the colonial thought. Fanon, when did you? Of course I'm aware of Fanon. I experienced it all as well. But the Republic would elevate. Oh my God, it's a lot of reading. I'm 20 minutes in. I can't read this much, guys. Everyone wants my endorsement lately. Did you all miss the part where I said that putting leaders on a pedestal should be avoided at all costs? That includes me. To derive your entire worldview from Plato's Republic, I don't care if you share his name. It's ridiculous. Justice must be found within the struggles of the people, not in the dead dreams of European men. The fact you hold the people in such high regard is the whole reason we believe in you, Fanon. Same with Locke and even Marx. That drive to always be one who questions is what we need in leadership now more than ever. It's always why I'm letting myself be questioned instead of barreling ahead. Well then, let's hope the questioneer is up to the task. My life has quickly turned into a political thriller. Ari, I think that's your cue. Right. I think I did this one. It doesn't matter. We got like 2 more debates with him, I'm pretty sure. That's how this works. It makes it clear I intend to address your previous concerns. Power is not all or nothing. Though thinkers will make the final decisions, those decisions must be rooted in the experience of the people. You don't have to be in charge in order to have meaningful influence. It sure helps, though. People will have more to do with than twiddle their thumbs as they wait for the judgment of the philosophers. Oh yeah? Are they allowed to twiddle their toes too? People still have plenty of freedom in the Republic. They can twiddle whatever the hell they want. But more importantly, they will have options to affect the decisions that are made. This establishes how average people can engage with the system. Is this some medieval thing? Go up to your philosopher king and beg? Oh, my brainy liege, hear my plea. It'll be nothing like that. Wait, it'll be nothing like that? Well, actually, it will be something like that, but with more dignity and multiple lieges. League? Regardless, spaces must be created for people to present their views and problems to a panel of philosophers who will in turn ask questions in order to assert validity. A better comparison would be a legal case, a Senate hearing, and the peer reviews I discussed earlier. This is a core structural idea for the Republic. It's less something to back up as it is a mandate that must be established. By giving all people access to the philosophers, the entire system will be more just.
Nonsense.
It's easy to say all people, but access to these systems will be limited. Even in the intelligible realm, my schedule is almost entirely booked, and some spoiled individuals will seek more attention than others. Machiavelli just tried to book an entire week after the thrashing this one gave him. And did you let Darth Linguini book that whole week? No, of course not. Well then, I imagine you'd apply the same judgment to the audiences you granted when in leadership, wouldn't you? Everyone will have a chance to make their case. This establishes how everywhere within the system the ability to reason is still important. It also states how citizens could establish themselves as great thinkers and join the council. What reasoning do you have to support this statement? You've seen how they pushed back against flimsy points, but adjust to take stronger ones into account. I mean, for the most part, sometimes they just freak out and yell a bunch. Alright, I'll give you that, but overall, yeah, fine. I mean, I've said so myself. It's nice so many of them actually listen. Well, there you have it. Drank this whole water bottle already, basically. Subject matter experts, scientists, historians, even accountants will naturally have more sway on the topic in which they are knowledgeable. What do you think you can butter us up by? Why do you think you can? What? Do you think you can butter us up? I don't know what I was reading. Damn. Butter us up by pretending to appreciate accountants? After all these years, Dad, no, stop. Philosophers are well equipped to filter through the noise of illogical that dominates the current discourse. People who come in and try to create a scapegoat for their problems will find that they have little sway. But citizens who approach these audiences with well-supported arguments will get a lot more mileage out of them. People will still be instrumental in the Republic. I believe they have more success finding a sympathetic ear than in democracy. The whole purpose of these audiences is to educate the philosopher on what the people want to need. So they use their wisdom to meet those needs. Excellent. Much like Lenin's Vanguard Party. Sure, except we don't cut out business owners. And people are still allowed to disagree once the decision has been made. So really, nothing like the Leninist ideal at all. I don't know what you put up with I don't know why you put up with half these questions, Em. It's not her fault. She feels compelled to question everything. My working theory is that it's genetic. That would explain a lot about this family. Well, most of the time, it's for the best that she does. Most of the time. Yeah, okay, I'm still here. Alright, so reading all those didn't help me. You know? Ha! We've got him. Nope, it wasn't that. So yeah, I feel like it's always a third one. I don't know what to do for the third one, like, every time. I agree entirely. Thank you, Pythia. Because the counterpoint makes little sense. I agree entirely. Thank you, Harry. If nothing else, I have to admire Markus's belief in the power of debate, even if he thinks only a few people can actually do it. Tendency to revere philosophers at odds with general distrust of humanity. Yes, profile him, Fenton. God, it feels good to not be on the receiving end of his notes for once. Fear of therapy persists.
Nonsense!
Your boy done did it. Markus, these forums are meant to give people a way to reach the philosophers, correct? With the hope that the citizens who make their arguments more compelling will gain more influence. That seems only logical. If you present strong evidence or structure your argument well, you should be more persuasive. That is how we try to do things in the intelligible realm. I confess I am partial to the approach. Oh, I am too. It works great when everyone is on equal footing. But can you really claim everyone's feet are equal? I'm confused. What's wrong with our feet? Metaphorical feet? Socrates? Metaphorical feet, Socrates! Evidence, merit. It's nice to think of these things as signs of the worthy, and they're certainly important. But those who are privileged in our society, the wealthy, or members of the dominant culture, are inherently better positioned to succeed. It's easier to build a solid case. Damn, I cannot read. When you have access to all the finest materials. But we'll counter that. And I literally read books like every other week. Jesus Christ. Make sure everyone has equal time to be heard. I feel like this is different from reading a book, though. That's what it is. Even then, pre-existing advantages and disadvantages will remain a factor. Fanon talked at length about how those regularly denied opportunities are, as a result, poorly positioned to seize whatever opportunities do emerge, a cycle of alienation. And recall Marx's oligarchy of the rich, how those with wealth can distort the system. Hell, they could try and straight up bribe philosophers. Anything to make their case compelling, right? But philosophers are dedicated to justice. They should listen to those who are unheard. And if they're already at the top, why would they care about a few extra bucks? Lots of reasons. Maybe I want a new hat. Couldn't have entered at a better time, Nozick. I guess everyone is here now except Machiavelli. We invited him. I believe he is afraid of you. He should be, as he should be. But back on track. The simple truth is this. Markus, philosophers are not immune to bias. They're not immune to self-interest. Your system puts no checks on them at all. Do you really want to take their goodness of faith on faith? You've got him, Ari. I'm so proud of you, Pumpkin. I feel like I should be insulted, but instead I agree. You're still out of order, civilian. Markus, tell her everything she's gotten wrong.
Nonsense.
No, Regis, once again, she makes a good point. What? I'll admit, if we take too much on faith, we could be susceptible to false or fallen figures. This is a serious issue for the Republic. Plateau said so himself, but a serious issue does not mean an unsolvable issue. Oh my fucking god, just go down to the grave, bro! I can't deny that it could be possible for philosophers to lose sight of justice. If they were to acquire private land, spouses, and money, their interests would indeed turn into maintaining them rather than knowledge. So we'll put limitations on them to prevent them from being distracted. If we place power in their hands under these conditions, we can be sure they will never become corrupt. And there we go. The philosophers need checks, so we'll keep them in check. The right precautions can keep even the weakest philosopher focused. Well, I'm definitely not a fan of this proposal. First, we were placed on a pedestal, which was already suspect, and now that pedestal feels more like a prison. But if we assess the situation from behind the veil, it does, in fact, seem necessary to put checks on any ruling group, does it not? A truly superior man shouldn't need such restrictions, but I suppose accepting them would allow us to model such acceptance for others. Am I missing something? I thought we had him, but now it seems like the philosophers are seriously considering the Republic. He and Regis have been planning this moment for years, hadn't he? It was never going to be simple. During my own scary final debate, we were the only ones at stake. But I knew I had to keep going. Trust my gut when it said, this isn't right. I feel the same thing here. Socrates is right, hadn't he? Sometimes you just have to keep fighting. Recognizing those moments is as important as recognizing when to back down. And although the tunnel is long, I feel we're getting closer to the end. Well, Ariadne, I'm waiting. Right, okay, let's do this. I think I know exactly what I'm about to use it on. So we'll put limitations. If you prevent distractions, they will not get distracted. But can you provide an example of how we do that? Even one example? I'll do better than that. I'll provide 3 entirely different plans. If any one works, we have something viable. So you'll have to dismantle all 3. We could have them make all the decisions from behind the veil of ignorance. We could have them live like monks, isolated in philosophical communes, and sworn to celibacy. If we place power in their hands under these conditions, we can be sure they will never become corrupt. I think it's this last one right here. But let's first do the connections for all this. This is the overall point. We make some adjustments, and we can once again see it is best to put the philosophers in charge. With proper countermeasures in place, we can trust the philosophers will remain focused. I'm about to watch Doctor Who after this. The logic here is pretty fundamental. If we have workable plans to prevent the problem can be prevented. If we have workable plans. If you doubt that point, that the statements, you should question lie elsewhere. As long as we can find some deterrent, this conclusion stands. Rawls, can you define the veil of ignorance again? Again? It appears Ariadne needs it. The veil of ignorance is a threshold. Oh, we're not listening to the original position. We're not doing that. As you can see, it is a state that would help protect philosophers from their biases. Yeah, fuck the original position, bro. This is the second of 3 potential deterrents. One which addresses the potential self-interest of philosophers by hiding their identities from themselves. Rawls' original position separates the person from their identity. Day-to-day philosophers could participate in the world freely, even take on personal goals to improve their lives, but all would be stripped from them when deciding for the public. In such a setup, acting on conflicting motives would become impossible. That does sound like a sweet setup.
Nonsense!
I hate to remind you, Mr. Plateau, but the veil is only ever a thought experiment. It sets a target. There's no possibility of implementation in real life. So you say, but I've been pondering Pythia's request that we build an amnesia machine. We've made some cool tech, but brains are way more complicated than interdimensional portals. Not really? Maybe? I feel like they're on the same level. I don't know how we could test an amnesia machine without risking a zombie apocalypse. That might be a little facts, though. I confess, my early explorations were not very promising. I suppose without any practical implementation plan, I have to accept this is not a workable solution. Becoming a philosopher king would require you to take vows. Simple life. Your basic needs would be met, but most distractions would be eliminated as you are surrounded by other great thinkers. Wait, so basically the intellectual realm? Indeed. How convenient for us that such a space already exists. In the commune, there's no sex, drugs, or rock and roll. Philosophers would have nothing to do but study and think. They could then have their reflections and decrees delivered to the people without ever needing to interact. Without interaction, there is no entry point for corrupting influence. This plan is the worst. For you, perhaps, but not for the world. Markus, earlier, that's not this one, you yourself said that it was essential that philosophers remain connected to the people, but your solution here, placing them in communes directly contradicts that. Experience informs ideas. A diversity of experience forges stronger ideas. I mean, just tonight the Arbiter lectured me about the importance of partying. That was not me, that was Jennifer. That was you, Arbiter. Wait, what? I never lectured anybody. Ari's introversion is kinda cute. Okay, the point is, how's a group cut off from the world supposed to understand its many, many facets? We'd wind up with all the philosophers merging into one big, uninteresting block. Alright. I'm acknowledging the criticism before I address it. You literally just went on for several minutes about this. I'm not going to restate your point for you. I mean, if you no longer believe this, we could skip to the part where you join our cause. Oh, no, I'm good. Then don't ask me to back up your own points. guess it runs in the family. She's got it from you, not me. I'm diving deeper into the issue so that I can lay out a comprehensive solution. I think I need a new statement or something. Relationships and wealth could distract philosophers from their focus on justice. These are all things that require effort to maintain. I started with your initial examples and expanded a bit. It's not that such things don't have value, but the effort spent on them is effort not spent on reflection. As a result, they could easily become catalysts for philosophers losing sight of philosophy. Alright, so it has to be this one. This is the first of 3 potential deterrents. Using the internet, the specific identities of philosophers can be obscured. We could also block certain types of interactions. This will keep the focus on their interactions, on helping the people asking for help, providing anonymous guidance. So they become like tech support, but for various political and essential crises. Have you tried turning your moral dilemma off and on? If the people don't know who the philosophers are, it becomes much harder to bribe or subvert them. Philosophers can still form relationships with people in order to help, but won't be able to get anything out of those relationships. Furthermore, the internet is a vast repository of information which the philosophers could freely use. So what? They'd all stay inside and order pizza? We'd have some pretty unhealthy philosophers then. We've always had an issue with unhealthy philosophers, even before they were dead. I mean, what? A man is allowed to smoke and drink a little? That wasn't directed at you, Markus, but I'm glad you were satisfied with your life choices.
Nonsense!
Is embedding the philosophers in the internet actually a good idea? No matter its general usefulness, the internet is home to a lot of really distracting things, like top 10 ways to combat gray hair. And it's also the source of a lot of misinformation you were complaining about earlier, like top 10 ways to combat gray hair. Seriously, none of them worked. In the end, gotta say, it seems like the internet increases the chance of philosophers being led astray. Well, as we've discussed, philosophers are far better equipped to distinguish fact from fiction than the average dad. Okay, but even if we accept that, it's not just philosophers being the target of misinformation we have to worry about. You frame their anonymity. Fuck, I can't say words. As a purely good thing. Protection against the ability of others to bribe and subvert them. But if we don't know who they are, we won't be able to hold them accountable either. Machiavelli's much harder to challenge if he hides behind cute memes. No matter how highly you think of philosophers, this setup is ripe for abuse. Very well, I accept this is not the best proposal. Ow. Well, look at that. You have no plans left. All the things you planned to counter the possibility of philosophers losing sight of justice, none of them held up to scrutiny. There are always more options. I just need to think. The world could be be so much better than this. Something has to work. No, please, Markus. Fundamentally, the Republic places too much power in too few hands. There's no way to guarantee your philosopher kings won't become philosopher tyrants. Markus, Regis, come on, throw in the towel. You've made some strong points. You've driven home everything that's wrong with democracy. We have hard problems to solve. But after all this, do you still think the Republic is a better option? Sometimes you just have to keep fighting. What?
Nonsense.
There's no way, bro. You can't be serious. You're still at it? You may have found a fallacy, but you fight me with one as well. Just because perfection might be unattainable does not mean we should not try. It does mean that. It means you can get as close to perfection as possible, but whatever. Who said that, I wonder? Bro came in sweating. You knew who said it. Yes, it's true. A philosopher could lose sight of justice. And yes, I failed to find any perfect countermeasure. But at least my tyrants would be wise, unlike the tyrants of democracy. The Republic is still the best option we have. So they're going tyrant for tyrant right now. This is insane.
Bro, this better be the last one, bro. I'm not gonna lie. His debate is boring. Give me a different guy.
even with its flaws, Plato's Republic is a far better system than the alternatives. Powerful people invariably have an outsized effect on the shape of the society and the prospect of everyone in it. Given this influence, political power should only be given to those trained to use it for the good of all. We can no longer afford to be governed by unqualified leaders. We have to act. Regis, it's time. Call back the troops. What? You can't be serious. Markus, you promised to let us discuss, and I have let you discuss. The focus has shifted as we've explored various aspects of our plan, but though you found a few flaws, the censure still holds. Nothing you've observed about the Republic makes it worse than democracy. So unless you can fundamentally shift that balance, the original conclusion stands. We have to act. This can't be happening. It's happening. Let's go, Reg. Yes, of course. I'll just... Reg? I'm sorry, I think I might agree with them. You're kidding. Wait, why is his... Hold on, let's pause for a second. Why is Marcus's hair, like, tinted purple, but his brother's hair is purple? That's weird, no? I hate it. I do. But as I've been sitting here, listening, just like you said we should, I believe in this cause of ours that wiser leadership can help everyone create new opportunities for all. And I know what you're saying, like, maybe his hair was just like that, but, like, it kind of just looks like he dyed certain parts, no? My troops put their trust in me. That whatever I ordered will be worth the risk. This is worth the risk. I was gonna say whisk. A better world is worth the risk. But is that what this is? Sure, it doesn't sound like it. Not anymore. I should have known it'd never be this simple. As smart as they are, philosophers won't be our saviors. They're just as flawed as everyone else. Regis, the world could be so much better than this. It still can be, but not like this. Wait, is that it then? Is it? No, he pulled his glasses up. I'm doing this for you, Rage. I'm doing this for all of you. But if you won't stand by me, I'll find another way. Markus, without Reg, there is no... I'll convince him then. And if I can't, Markus, there isn't anything left to do. Something has to be done. We can't just settle for the way things are. I love our people. I love this world, but I've seen so many hurt over and over. How can you all be okay with that? We're not okay with it, You know I'm not. But we can't just decide for everyone either. No one should have that power. Please, just think for a moment. Bro, please do not debate me again. I'm begging you. Please. If there really was another way, a better way to solve these problems, I would take it in a heartbeat. Oh my god, he's gonna debate me again. So please prove me wrong. Show me another path. Fuck. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, everyone, let's finish this together. Right, we can reach him. We have to. One last debate. It's all on the line. Let's see where we fall. Motto of Superior can help us know how to perform. By establishing the impact of the powerful, the stake of the problem become clear. Who we put in power have repercussions for everyone. Let's pack him up, guys. Wait, he's helping too? The greater your standing in society, the greater an impact you have on everyone around you. Presenting your back. Present your backing. Present your backing. Presenting your back. That's crazy. I put the ing in back. Whatever. If your neighbor decides, where am I getting these words? The Grand Canyon is an eyesore. He just won't go. Like, I don't read like this at all, other than when I'm playing visual novels. But if the president decides the Grand Canyon is an eyesore, well, they have the resources to do something far more drastic. Nuke it, paint it maroon, fill it with concrete. Yes, well, luckily, filling the Grand Canyon hasn't been one of their directives. Yeah, I'm sorry, are you trying to convince me to switch sides again? The point is, the opinions of the president have more impact than the opinions of your neighbor. Because of their power and influence, their capacity is harmed. It reinforces why Plato's Republic is the best option. It places intense checks on the characters of those who assume leadership. Clarify that for me. How is one trained to use power for the good of all? That, at least, it's a valid question. First and foremost, attention must be paid to the nature of justice. How do you resolve society's conflicts in a way that's ethical, compassionate, and effective? That seems right. Justice is the first virtue of social institutions, after all. And a leader with such a focus would surely become a model for all who serve him. As these two have just reminded us, philosophers have spent eons reflecting on and debating the nature of justice. Exactly why they are more qualified than any other to lead. Both of these clarifying thoughts seem important. Why don't we examine them further? Always a better choice. Like, I'd seen it off rip. No? Haha, we've got him. Wait, are we both sure? Because that counterpoint makes little sense. I agree entirely. Thank you, Pythia. Alright, why do you keep using her to hurt me? That hurts. This is a reminder that the very quality leaders need is one that philosophers already have in spades. If asked for them to list their experience on justice, philosophers will have a resume that stretches for multiple pages. Everyone knows if your resume is multiple pages. I keep thinking of resume, whatever. It's either horribly organized or horribly padded. Wait, really? What do you mean by this? Philosophers are inherently more qualified for leadership because they've already spent years reflecting on what matters. As Confucius says, you can trust they can do the job because they have already been doing it. I'm just saying, my daughter and I both outdebated a ton of these geezers. You hardly outdebated them, you engaged with them. Each philosopher came to the table with years of reflection and wisdom. Only by first learning from their logic could you observe potential flaws. Can you deny that in the process you yourself grew as an individual? I deny everything. I learned nothing. Oh wow, that was very convincing. I really believe he learned nothing. All right, your dad is an airhead. I expected more accountability from the head of accountable accounting. Even with all you've learned, the philosophers still outclass you. They've spent years thinking about these concepts, and if they're not using the wisdom to guide us, then it's going to waste. Is that so? This stands true from everything I've said. The masses flail around, careening from their own decision to another. As leaders, philosophers would be best positioned to provide direction. Isn't this the very reason why you wanted to lead, to spread their wisdom? Well, there's no better way to spread their wisdom than putting them in charge. The best place for a philosopher to be in charge is in charge. This is the only way to... Did he say Herm? He did. It's the only way to create a society that shares their sense of justice and reason. The only way, huh? This shows why the only choice is... Wait, what? If there's no better way to use their knowledge than having them lead, then they must... Wait, what? Than having them lead, then they must lead. Okay, I guess that's exactly what he said. I smoked him. That was crazy. A family nonsense? Was that not crazy? What was that? Some sort of Jones family hive mind? I think we all just thought of the same objection at the same time, because in the end, the problem with everything you want to do is obvious. I've heard such grandstanding before, Ariadne. It'll take something with more substance to change our mind. Well, I hope you're hungry because we've prepared a 4-course logic buffet. Philosophers must be raised above the people because of their unique capacity for reason. Would you say that's an accurate summary of your argument, Markus? Yes, I would, and this is ultimately why democracy is doomed. The public's lack of reason leads to short-sighted decisions. I've been incredibly clear about that. Well, there's a third position you're holding. A sinister assumption key to justifying your plan. You're not just saying people are unreasonable. You are assuming they are incapable of reason. What? Here's how it shakes out, Markus. Your love of philosophy is valid. Your critique of democracy even is valid. But somewhere along the way, you stopped thinking of critical thinking as a skill people learn, and instead as one that they just have. You use the loaded language of class and rank, inventing a clean line where there is none. And once we draw out this fact, your whole pitch is revealed for the sham it is.
Nonsense.
Look at the choices the public makes. Look at the people that they vote for. You can't possibly argue that never having learned is not the same as being incapable of learning. 3 years ago, I was a bumbling idiot. I didn't see the point of politics or philosophy. Now, I'm much wiser. Still bumbling, but wiser. And if even Socrates is capable of growth, then who else might be? How many others would become better if we just gave them the right tools?
Nonsense.
Socrates had no choice. He was dead. He had nothing to do but learn. People aren't interested in learning to be better. They just want to feel better.
Nonsense.
Okay, yeah, that situation was perfectly designed to create pressure for Dad to grow. In reality, there are countless reasons someone might not want to learn. Some are rewarded for holding the line. Others just find life easier to manage with their heads in the sand. But this feels like a situation that's as much created by the problem as it is the cause of it. If those around you don't want to learn and grow, you're more likely to be baited and manipulated than come to an accord. But if you could teach more and more people to think critically, the cycle would break down. Being reasonable becomes a more reasonable option. So what, you'd try to teach everyone? Yes, I would. And yes, it's incredibly difficult, Markus. Every person is different and requires a different approach. But you know who would be well equipped to handle it? Those already skilled in reasoning. As Fanon said, everything can be explained to the people on the single condition that you really want them to understand. Impossible. Imagine, Markus, a world in which critical thinking is both valued and widely taught. A world in which people know not only, that's Ender's Game, not only how to dissect the thoughts of others, but also their own, but they still trick them in the end. Attempts to manipulate or subjugate would be overwhelmingly recognized. The politicians who traded in bluster and bigotry would find themselves no longer welcome. Reasonability, would flow up from the people, no longer easily swayed into all the leaders of democracy. In that world, we'd all be philosopher queens. Very well. Very well. What else can I say? You're right. The first priority of the wisest should not be to rule. It should be to teach, so we all can become wise and know what we don't know. Indeed. I was too hasty, it seems, too certain in my course. But, brother, I'm sorry, Reyes. I'm sorry for everything. That was the final. Oh, this is the. Okay. I thought it was gonna be one more debate. Never mind. Final chapter, y'all. Ariadne. I'm sorry, Mom, but come on. We did it. We talked down a freaking military coup. We're goddamn honest to goodness heroes. It was indeed an impressive demonstration of the power of debate, applied at the right time among those willing to listen. It's possible to change the course of history. Yeah, I mean, it's become difficult to find many willing to listen in politics, but I guess that's what we just argued. It's easier for people to hold terrible positions when they're not held accountable for what those positions mean. Lines have to be drawn, or of course, reasonable. Reasonable does not mean in the middle. There will always be people arguing for heinous things, and between justice and hate, there can be no compromise. But I do think if critical thinking was more widely taught, you'd see fewer people getting swept up by the fear. I think that's also true. Like, bro, you're being tricked. I hope so anyway. But how will we do it? Excuse me? What you're describing sounds great. I like it. I really love it. But change doesn't happen just because you wish it. So how does it happen? Yes, the final challenge to every important philosophy. How does your ideal theory meet the non-ideal world? Well, with the portal open and the philosophers behind us, we'll have more clout to convince people to focus on reform. It won't be easy, but we can do it. We need to play politics a little longer, but in doing so, we can change what playing politics means. If you win. If I win. And that's the catch, isn't it? Why Markus and I fell into our plan in the first place. No matter how good our intentions, our power to change things within the system is limited. Even if you win, you'll be bound by the need to continue winning. We can't stop there then. Pythia can try to reform from within. There's values in that, but the real work is to be done among the people in local towns, counties, and schools. By organizing at the ground level, by teaching people where they are, we build a better future, create the needed pressure for change. It'll be a longer, harder path, but it'll also be more stable, and we can never settle when the world could be better. He finally gets it. Perhaps that isn't indeed what's going on. What's going to be more good in the long run. I think that's the last piece I needed, Markus. Thank you. I've been so focused on the power of my office, I guess I lost sight of the power outside of it. Hell, if I lose, maybe I'll come work for you. And I'm about to go get a water, bro. Mark, what'd he say? Not a military coup. Yeah, I done got that water. We should empower the masses, not dictate them. Give them the tools to decide for themselves whether the time has come for revolution. I can accept that. Yes, finally. I hope it won't be necessary. With enough work, democracy should be able to overcome any special interest. Well, if either Markus or Pythia are successful, we'll have a society that can better imagine their original position and fight for those they've never met. But perhaps the mandate is already irrevocably passed. I've just discovered social media, and who gave Confucius a phone? We can't have them despairing before we even begin. Sorry. Philosophers, come along. We can debate this back in the intelligible realm. After all, any conclusions we reach, we can share with all, and perhaps do some good. Pythia, Markus, we'll have to discuss my compensation later. What could you possibly need money for, Nozick? You're dead! I swear. Well, I suppose this is it then. I need to return to HQ, try to explain what I was doing here today. Regis, if what we were planning gets out, if someone needs to take the blame, it'll be me. But I was the one who... It'll be me, Em. Oh, don't look so down, brother. In the end, we stopped before the point of no return. Maybe that'll count for something. That seems unlikely. Wouldn't be the strangest thing to happen today. Men, it's time to move out. Markus, if my stubborn brother is determined to sacrifice it all again, I need to make the most of it. That national education initiative initiative isn't going to build itself, you'll have my help. Kappa 2.0, let's go! With Jen at your side, coming up with catchy cheers. With Jen just coming up with catchy cheers, you can't fail. The benefits of a good cheer should never be underestimated. Pythia, Ariadne, consider this our resignation. May our paths cross again in a better future. I'll see you later, Ari. Oh, and just so you know, you were amazing today. She's right, you know. You not only saved your mother, you saved everyone. I had nothing to worry about. I'm proud of you, kid. I have to be honest, I don't know if any of this will actually help. The world is so complex. We've learned and discussed a lot, but we're missing so much more. You're probably right, Pumpkin. Political philosophy is inherently more complex than moral philosophy. Determining what's best for yourself is already hard. Determining for a group, overwhelmingly so. Every choice is a trade-off, and those trade-offs affect millions of lives. In the end, we can only try to choose as wisely and kindly as possible and hold each other accountable when we fall short. Yeah, I guess that's true. Hey, Mom, Dad, can we get something to eat? I just realized I'm kinda starving. Me too. Turns out imaginary food wears off quickly. I know, let's get bagels. Bagels sounds great. Absolutely not. Eat empty carbs. What about mini bagels? The size of the bagel does not change the carb ratio, Socrates. See, Pythia? This is how Pie-Geddon happened. Larry Pingus... Wait, what? What did he just say? Hold on, your school board opponent... I guess so, I'd honestly forgotten. Your opponent was named Pingus, and you still lost? No, answer the fucking question. I hate politics. That's crazy you lost to Pingus, bro. Is that it? Thanks to the effort of Capra and my family, we have... hold on. So allow me to introduce you all to some long-lost friends.
She's doing well up there, almost relaxed. That makes one of us. Is my skull mask too scary?
Ultimately, in both action and inaction, I bear responsibility for that day. I do not expect your judgment to be merciful. You must do what seems just to you. As the world reels from the discovery of the intelligible realm, one question lingers. Will these long-dead philosophers help sharpen our brains or eat them? I'd like to thank your teacher for having us here today. We're going to learn the brilliance of democracy. Hold on, they're speaking too... Oh, dear. They're speaking too fast, bro. I can't even do their voices. Finally happening. I'm so excited. I can't believe I agreed to do this. No more hesitation, Ariadne Jones. We must dance. No way the Arbiter's dancing. I started my own cryptocurrency, Nosebucks. It's crashed and peaked 4 times since yesterday. Very exciting. I have never hated anything more. Nonsense! Time has come to reclaim my legacy. I will seize what... Look, why is he doing those hand movements? The Prince too. Prince Demption. Working title. Is there I'm just waiting to see if it's gonna return to the title screen or it's gonna say thank you for playing or something. Come on, Mom. Everyone's waiting. I know. I just need a moment. And that's another 1,000 for Smith and 900 for Tucker. It's so close. I know. Whatever comes next, we're in it together. Right. Whatever comes next. Oh, that was a good ending. Finn. Hey, shout out to Intelligible Games, guys. They made this. This shit was fire, guys. You did your thing and everything, and if you will make it 3, please let me know, please. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for showing love. Leave a like if you haven't, and why not subscribe? Why not subscribe? You have no reason not to.